Hello all my minifigs, I am Bmanlegoboy and thank you very much for clicking on this video, and today I have yet another reaction for you. I'll be reacting to, what even is Star Wars The Last Jedi? So this is uploaded by Browntable about 2 minutes ago by the time I'm watching it. And guys, ever since I found out that Browntable was going to be working on a Star Wars vid, I was like, okay, I gotta react to more of his videos than just Return to Zootopia. So I'm hoping that this will be like the starting video for like non-RTZ episodes or vids from him. And I'm looking at the very first frame of the vid right now. It says, prepare to get really triggered whether you love the movie or hate it. Now, guys, as we all should be aware by now, I am a huge Star Wars nerd. Yes, I am calling myself a nerd, and I am proud to be a nerd. Now, overall, I loved The Last Jedi. I mean, it was really good. It was different, and it did not copy Empire Strikes Back. But there are some flaws with the film that I do not agree with. Firstly, the whole Casino Canto bite thing, that whole thing was just kind of pointless. Second, the whole kiss scene between Finn and Rose at the end of the film, that was completely rushed. Third, I guess, well, I don't know how big this is. Killing Snoke off early, and not even finding out who he is, because that was kind of shocking, but at the same time, it was expected to happen. But then again, in episode 9, for a lot of people, but I guess a second movie in a trilogy is a charm for this one. And fourth, splitting Anakin's lightsaber in half, the same lightsaber that's been used by Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, and now Rey. Splitting that in half, I was like, yeah, you can't do that. And then to top things off at number 5, and what I call the biggest movie mistake of all time, killing off Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is my favorite Star Wars character ever, and he always will be. And he's actually one of my favorite movie characters of all time, which makes sense because he is one of cinema's most iconic heroes. And I was really disappointed that that Rian Johnson chose to kill him off. Like, you reintroduce him 33 years after Return of the Jedi, turn him into what he was in the movie, and then when he finally comes back to help everyone, he doesn't even bother to show up, and then somehow drains all the life out of him, and then he becomes one with the Force. Guys, in all honesty, when I first saw that scene in the theater, I literally wanted to get up out of my seat and say, okay, I'm done. But I manned up and I was like, okay, very, very emotional and a very big mistake, but I'm gonna stick with it. Now, I am glad that Mark Hamill is gonna be coming back to play Luke in episode 9, since it was confirmed on August 1st, or at least sometime before the episode 9 started filming. So I am glad that Luke is coming back. But the question is, for how much screen time? Because if he's going to be a Force ghost, they normally don't get that much screen time in the Star Wars films. So Luke Skywalker's Force ghost is probably going to have a limited amount of screen time in episode 9. But whatever happens, I'll be happy as long as Luke is in the film, because you can't end the Skywalker saga without the one Skywalker who started it, and that's Luke. Or if we're talking in terms of chronological order, Anakin Skywalker, but that's besides the point. But anyways, guys, enough with me talking. Let's just get right into the video. The original video will be down in the description down below. And without further ado, let's get into the reaction. Playing in 3, 2, 1, go.
I know what you're thinking.
Bring it.
Another video on The Last Jedi? Are you serious? Yes. I wanted to talk about what I find wrong about it, what I find right about it, because there's these moments of just incredible filmmaking, and then there's...
Yeah.
I don't know what this movie is. What is The Last Jedi? I don't know anymore. I made a video on The Last Jedi, I don't know, maybe a week or two after the movie came out, and it was mostly talking about my distaste towards the fans that said the movie failed because the movie subverted expectations. The video is somewhat a mediocre one. I didn't really go in depth whether or not I actually thought the movie was absolutely incredible or just okay. Also, I'm very sick right now. I can barely talk. Just imagine me on my deathbed editing a YouTube video. Y'all are worth it. So, there are mostly two sides when talking about The Last Jedi. The movie's a total failure and ruined Star Wars, or the movie's perfection and Rian Johnson created a masterpiece. I think anyone can think whatever they want.
Like I said,
but let me just say, what I'm about to say in this video is 100% my opinion and could be very triggering. And you could think my opinion is dumb. And that's cool. I think the movie is pretty great to okay. It's a great movie, but somewhat forgettable, at least to me. What I mostly remember was the scene in which Holdo kamikazes herself in the final fight, maybe the throne room scene. That's pretty much it. Now, as of right now, some of you may be going, "You're nothing." Let's try to argue with the statements made by people who say the movie is bad, and then we'll argue with the statements made that the movie is good.
Alright.
Hello? Hello? Yep, I'm still here.
Star Wars The Last Jedi is better than any prequel film, easily. Those movies are pretty damn bad, but they're very fun, in my opinion. They're very memeable.
You're sweating.
But just because it's better than the prequels doesn't mean the movie's amazing, because it's not hard to be better than the Star Wars prequels.
That's...
Really, the only good thing to come out of the prequel trilogy was the lightsaber choreography. Those fights in those movies.
Rather satisfying conclusion for me. So I'd fit The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi around the middle here.
So
I very much prefer The Last Jedi to The Force Awakens. I think mostly due to how ballsy Rian Johnson is to fuck with fans' expectations to deliver something fresh and original, or at least
that's kind of like my list, except Return of the Jedi is
because The Last Jedi has a lot of Empire in it. Still, though, just because it doesn't reach the greatness of the original trilogy doesn't mean the movie's terrible. In fact, I really enjoy most aspects of the film. The fact that the entire premise is a giant chase is one concept I really enjoyed, though that's made a bit less suspenseful by the fact that everyone keeps coming and going from the ship. I really do like Rey's journey in the film. The fact that we can see her actually struggle a lot more than The Force Awakens. I think Rey is a perfectly fine protagonist, but that's all she is to me. Fine. I hate how people say she's a Mary Sue. She's not. But it's hard sometimes to actually prove it, because she's pretty much thrust from scene to scene against her will. The Last Jedi makes her much more active and curious, and I genuinely like that. Also, her leaving Luke is easily one of the biggest character moments she has. I thought Luke Skywalker's change was fine and very interesting to see, and the reasoning behind him becoming a hermit makes a lot of sense to me, even though it is a bit of a drastic change for the character. The fact that a lot of the movie has to do with perception and how one sees certain people or interprets certain events.
I mean, we were waiting 33 years for him to come back.
Star Wars fans is that Luke would never become a hermit, and I totally get that. If he had just ignited his saber and then, fought against his ill will and turned it off, of course he wouldn't have become a hermit. He would have just accepted it and meditated.
It's weird how he didn't wake up at first. I mean, those things are pretty loud.
Luke kills his father in Return of the Jedi, so that's not something completely new. What is new is that Kylo Ren, or should I say, Ben Swallow, sees this.
Oh my god, you did not just put that in there.
That still wouldn't make him a hermit. Luke becomes a hermit because Ben Swallow literally kills Luke's entire class of future Jedi, Anakin style, and then Ben even leaves with some of these students, dubbing them the Knights of Ren. It's Luke's absolute.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be in Episode 9 since JJ introduced them.
Hasn't experienced before. It's not like Luke is going to go into some adventure because of this. Not like when his
aunt
and uncle
he did
died.
See the skeletons of his aunt and uncle as they were burning.
He had no say in whether they died or not this time. All of this death is Luke's fault. Luke falling from grace and eventually having Rey leave without helping her is so great in my opinion. Her constantly trying to push the hero role from person to person until eventually coming to terms that the hero has to be her is a pretty great arc. She wants Luke to save the galaxy. She wants Ben to turn and save the galaxy, but eventually she has to be the one to do so, since everyone around her has failed. Also, I'm pretty sure this scene was added because an inexperienced Rey could never have beaten an experienced Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens.
You were unbalanced.
But I loved Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. I missed the helmet mask thing, but dude, the guy just becomes so intense, and his motivations become so tangible and real, and I just love his final confrontation with Luke. Actually, the entire final battle on Salt Hoth is one of the best sequences in any Star Wars film, with a desperate attempt to take down the canon, to Luke and Leia meeting again, to Poe becoming a leader,
Brother and
to Luke
sister
facing down the entire
reuniting, that
First
was
Order
one of the
with a laser
sweetest
sword.
moments I've ever
I
seen.
think what? We're gonna walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole First Order? What did you think was going to happen here?
This is also
Ironic.
on the top 5 of most incredible Star Wars scenes of all time. Just incredible. Jaw-dropping.
Yeah,
it floored everyone
that
in my
scene,
theater. Finally,
just
she does something.
quiet.
The fact that they play with the Force in all of these imaginative
wow.
ways is honestly the most interesting and most brilliant part of this movie, shot-wise, cinematography-wise. Since the Force is in all
still
things,
can't tell whether
things
if
like
that
this
was
can
just
happen.
here or if that
Whack.
was from
Rey
the
and
rain.
Kylo talking and being in completely different places, but the conversation tells you they're facing each other is absolutely
Although I'm sure you
brilliant,
guys will be
and I
able to
love
tell
it.
me if
What
you
I
know.
didn't like was Space Leia.
Oh, God.
Like about the movie. For starters, I watched this movie on Netflix, and boy oh boy, I switched it off around 7 minutes in. I actually turned it off. Movies sometimes start with an action sequence to keep the audience hooked, and a lot of the time it works when you use your protagonist and there's a decent amount of build-up. But to be honest,
Okay,
when your movie
I'm gonna
starts
be
with
honest,
these characters that you honestly don't
It
care
was
about because
weird
you
how
don't really
Leia
know
just
who they
suddenly
are,
used the
and this
Force
major
like that.
catastrophic event is literally
But
happening
that
out
is
of
now
nowhere,
the
and then Poe
only
comes
time
and he's kinda
in the
joking
entire
around, though
Star
the
Wars
reasoning for
saga
the
where we're
joking
going
is
to be able
fine.
to see her use the
Villains are
Force.
acting
So,
like
for those of you who wanted her
just
to
always
become a
screaming.
Jedi in the sequel trilogy, be grateful for what you got.
And then we have this random character who sacrifices herself. It didn't really work for
Oh,
me.
yeah,
It's so
Paige.
sudden to have two characters joking around and then cut to a rebel soldier that needs to press a button. The entire sequence is well shot. Don't get me wrong. But I don't really feel anything. The
Those
fact that it's
bombers
so
were
cliché
useless.
and romanticized. This is impossible.
I know it's 30 years
Romanticization
after
isn't
Return of the
necessarily
Jedi,
bad,
but
though.
surely
The
they
final
could have
battle,
had
Finn is
used
about
the
to
Y-Wing
sacrifice himself, and
starfighters.
that's probably the most romanticized
If they were still
scene of the movie.
operational.
But it's built up gradually, and you care about the character because you know him. I don't know who this is, but at least it gives Rose some motivation, I guess. Again, this is just me. And just because I don't like parts of the
Browntable,
story
if you're
doesn't
watching,
mean
her
I hate
name
the
is
actors or
Paige Tico.
actresses. I mean, if you indulge in insulting actors and actresses who are just doing their job, you're an asshole. Now, I do think Poe has actually turned into a lot more of a character in The Last Jedi because he's supposedly dead for most of The Force Awakens and pretty much has no growth. We then finally catch up with Rey and the Hermit, and I really like all the scenes on the island because that should have been the main point of the movie. It's interesting, and it would have been great to get more training. Rey trains for literally one scene, and she's now magically as good as the Praetorian Guard. But instead of sticking to the one thing the movie had going for it, we're stuck with the dumbest, and I mean dumbest, side plot imaginable.
Yes.
It could have worked if done right, but it was butchered so incredibly hard. I think I need some of what this cast and crew were smoking, because it must have been a delight. This is the only thing that really brings this movie from a B+ to a B-.
Just look at Ryan Johnson. He wrote the film.
It's just so bad. Thankfully, it's not devastating or long enough to butcher the film for me in a substantial way. So the side plot, right? To access the First Order's ship and stop them or something weird like that, these two best friends that just met have to find someone called the Master Codebreaker. This is told to them by Maz Kanata in the cringiest way possible.
Could I do it? Of course I could do it.
Sounds like this codebreaker fellow can do everything.
Oh, yes, he can.
Using Lupita
Yeah, it was-
Nyong'o just for a voice cameo is a crime, to be honest. So the duo
Yeah,
takes
I
a
was
pod,
really
which
disappointed
goes
that
light
Maz
speed
didn't
to
have more
another
screen
planet.
time.
Why doesn't everybody on the ship just fly out in escape pods, which again,
But luckily
go light
she is
speed
going to be,
escape
like,
the First
actually
Order
physically
is
in
beyond
episode
me.
9, from
Then
what
they go
J.J.
to a
Abrams
casino
has
planet,
said,
and like
so.
idiots, they park on the frickin' beach.
What the fuck?
Then the actual casino literally looks like they just
That
went
sound
to Vegas.
effect.
Got a few background Star Wars, Star Trek characters, and painted humans up to look alienish. By the way, I just showed shots from a different movie. I don't know if you noticed. This is one of the most un-Star Wars looking
Nope.
things I've ever seen. I don't know what it is, but it just looks too human-like to be an alien planet. Well, anyways, of course, the two get caught. They're sent to jail, where they meet the most annoying character trope of all time. And when watching the movie for the first time,
DJ
I actually
was,
almost fell asleep at this point. It's that bad. So as
And I did not get the point of his stutter.
BB-8 can
Like,
pretty much do anything.
why?
How this even works, I have no clue.
And this is
then-
the guy who was
then
supposed to
we
play
have the
Darth
most
Maul,
foresight
and then you
plot
give him
ever
this?
created in all of cinema. They decide to rescue these gigantic donkeys and ride them away because I don't know, save the animals, screw animal abuse or something.
Yeah,
like maybe
automatic
instead of this,
like.
They could have paid more attention to this entire plot line. Also, the acting for these children. Look, if you thought Suicide Squad was bad, that's all you need to know. Anyways, the idiot is actually a smart person and sells out these two heroes. Or maybe the heroes are idiots, thus making the entire side plot pointless. But that actually doesn't bother me, because it shows that sometimes things don't go according to plan. This is what leads the viewers to say that the Del Toro reveal makes the entire side plot useless. This wouldn't be happening if the side plot was actually memorable and fun to watch. I mean, it is memorable, but for all the wrong reasons. Other than that side plot, the movie's pretty damn great and very, very enjoyable to me. The throne room battle is nothing too special. It's more about what the scene means than what's actually visually presented. Seeing Rey and Kylo fight side by side is really cool, even though it's eventually inconsequential. I'll let you know why in a bit. Now, Kylo Ren wanting to create a new order with Rey that is completely new to the universe was really moving, as well as Rey realizing her parents are nobodies. I think the acting in the scene is so
They were not
freaking
meant
good.
to be
I love
nobodies.
this
You
part of the
can't
scene.
deny it, Star
I just
Wars
hope that
fans.
they keep Rey's parents being nobodies and don't retcon it. But the thing is, I do find it incredibly, incredibly stupid that Kylo just ends up becoming the new Supreme Leader. Like, what happened to letting the past die? I don't know.
Yeah.
What would have been great is him actually, like, tearing down both factions, you know, the Resistance and the First Order. But he calls himself the Supreme Leader. That doesn't make sense.
The Supreme Leader is dead.
Long live the Supreme Leader.
This also makes zero sense, though I totally get the meaning behind it and its significance, but Rose could have easily killed Finn by doing this. Also, killed both of them by doing this. Going that fast in real life is instant death. And then they kiss, or at least she kisses him. There's no way Rose likes Finn in any way. This has never been presented.
That scene,
This is terrible,
like I said,
terrible,
was
terrible
just
writing. It's honestly
rushed.
back to prequel romances, because Star Wars can't write romance, apparently. The only good romance is Han and Leia, and even that was fumbled a bit. Now, this is really random. That is some intense ogling. Last but not least, Holdo keeping information from Poe is kind of illogical. I mean, if not, then at least let's be open to suggestions. And I understand why she doesn't divulge
should have
information
just
to Poe,
told the
especially
plan,
since he messes up in the beginning.
not kept it a
He's powerful enough
secret.
to start a mutiny. But why doesn't she tell them here? I think this would have been a good time to maybe say, alright, we have a plan, chill, Apocalypse. Holdo acts like a dictator, even though we're meant to sympathize with her. And yeah, her lack of divulging information leads to her army getting killed. Absolute nitwit. I think The Last Jedi has a lot of good ideas, but they're not executed properly. Kind of like Batman vs. Superman, or Batman v Superman, I don't know. Lots of good ideas, but they're not told in the right way. Or there are an insane amount of missed opportunities where the idea could have been conveyed better. The Last Jedi, I personally think, is around pretty great to good. Not absolutely great, not amazing, not shit, not bad. I think it's just better than average, and that's where I'll leave it. I seriously think it could have been a masterpiece. I think it could have been the best Star Wars movie. But due to some incredibly bad writing decisions, it doesn't reach that level.
Everyone gang up on Ryan Johnson. Don't go see his
The
trilogy.
stupid stuff even funnier, and the intense stuff even more intense, because, you know, people around you are experiencing the same thing. I think the biggest problem with this movie, personally, is just its tone is really weird. And I think the last shot where everyone's happy that, you know, they escaped the First Order, they lost, like, thousands of lives. And they're acting like, yay, we survived. Do you realize how many people have died because of some stupid plan? Like, it's so dumb. It's really ridiculous, and everyone's happy. I think that's what kind of messed me up a little bit. It was really weird. But that's the thing, I want this to be my The Last Jedi video, so I hope that's all. I really don't want to talk about Star Wars anymore. It's really exhausting, especially with its fan base. I know this video is going to get a lot of dislikes. I know, I get it. But hey, I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there. That's all. Also, thank you so much, patrons. I know I haven't posted that much content. I mean, college has just started, so it's been pretty intense. But thank you so much. It really means a lot. And thank you all for coming to the table. And I'll see you all next time.
Wow. This was really, really well done. Well done. Well done, Browntable. I give you 2 thumbs up. Okay, guys, so after opinion thoughts. He does bring up a lot of good points, and a lot of them I actually agree with. Like 95% of what he says, I agree with. This movie was supposed to be a very good Star Wars film, but then Ryan Johnson just turned it into meh. And I was like, Why? Why? Why would you do this? The Last Jedi was supposed to be, like, mind-blowing. I mean, yeah, it kind of, it was in some ways, but, Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy just shot Lucasfilm and Disney in the foot with some of the decisions that they made in this film. I'm not gonna lie. And for that, I'm not planning on seeing Ryan Johnson's trilogy. Like, even if it's not gonna be part of the Skywalker saga, I'm still... No, Ryan Johnson is just, in my opinion... I honestly thought he was gonna be a good director, but it turns out, for some of these reasons, I was wrong. And Kathleen Kennedy, on the other hand, she's just as bad. She's the one who approved everything. In fact, I even found out that she actually wanted Luke to die. And for that, Kathleen Kennedy, in my book, will forever be dead to me. I want her out of Lucasfilm, and I want someone else to take over. Someone who's more experienced with running a movie company. Especially one that is so sacred to the world like Star Wars. Because this is the greatest, or one of the greatest sagas of all time. And honestly, they're just, my God, it's so strange the direction they're taking. I'm really hoping that Episode 9 is going to be able to fix this problem, because J.J. Abrams is trying to play it safe. And from what I've been told about Episode 9, this film should hopefully be the movie to end Star Wars. The war to end all wars, as John Boyega puts it. And really, it's gonna be a rough year ahead waiting for Episode 9, but I'm willing to wait if the film is gonna be that good as JJ is putting it. I mean, not that many people hated The Force Awakens, other than the fact that it was really just completely ripped off A New Hope. But hopefully Episode 9 won't be a remake of Return of the Jedi, because I'm hoping that J.J. Abrams learned from his mistake a little bit, and just, well, then again, The Force Awakens was meant to introduce new fans into the saga, but then again, before this movie came out, adults could have shown their children the original 6 movies. That way they could have been familiar with what was to come. Instead of just having to, say, oh, for, little kids or new kids to the saga, we're just going to be bringing back all the new stuff, or all all the old stuff from the original movies and just making them into this film. I mean, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, we wanted to see something new. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully Episode 9 will do that. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've already seen, or from what I've heard from Episode 9, is hopefully going to be really good. I've also been hearing that the biggest lightsaber fight in Star Wars is hopefully going to be coming, which makes sense to put it in the final film. So, who knows? Who knows what's going to be happening? Only time will tell. But I'm putting my trust in you, JJ, and Kathleen, and Disney. I will forever be loyal to Disney, no matter what choices they decide. So guys, I thank you very much for watching. Please, go subscribe to Browntable Entertainment, and give him the love he so very much deserves. Oh my God, I've been talking so long, I cannot talk straight anymore. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, all my minifigs.